Hi, I'm Vanda Krausley. I am one of the co-founders of This Is Us, Texas, and I'm about to interview one of the people who's interested in being a part of the community, Chris McCrae. Oh, you're gonna make me do some editing, huh?
How would you? It's a pleasure to join you today. How are you?
Good. I know we had this planned a while back and just didn't make it happen, so I'm glad we were able to get it done today. So one of the things that you are doing is helping to make the vision of this co-housing community a reality. What are some of the things that attracted you to the co-housing community concept?
Uh, I believe that I've seen over, many generations of our, in our families, and it seems like when your children, they get older, they tend to move away, maybe move outside the state, sometimes even out the country. And as you get older, or even if you're younger, you kind of find the community. You might have a stark population at the nursing homes or something like that. They really don't have any family members to actually, bond and be with. So I think a community like this really helps when it comes to the fact of being able to have a community where you can have some of the elders, some of the middle-aged folks, children, and inspire them to do something different with their lives versus, traditional subdivision living.
Yes, like we all are doing right now. Like I don't
Right.
even know my neighbors. I see a few of them walking their dogs and cutting the grass and
Right.
kids next door, but I don't really know them. We don't really
No.
socialize or do anything like that.
They just
And
give you enough to know that you're alive.
yeah, when I grew up, I knew all of my neighbors' name. I could say Miss Jackson, Miss Smith, Miss Ewing, Mr. Brown. I knew all of that, and they knew us. So they, watched out for us coming in from school, and your parents are working. They were kind of like the second parents. Because
Right.
few of them did tell on me some of the things that I was doing, but it's all good. And then I had a grandmother that lived on the second floor as well.
Okay.
So I kind of grew up in a multi-generational community. And my other grandmother, she lived with her daughter and granddaughter as well. So
Okay.
tell me about your background growing up.
So actually, I kind of share a similar background. When I was born in Youngstown, Ohio, and up in
The
Ohio,
Buckeyes.
not really that big. So where I was at, so everybody knew everybody. Was the hardest thing to do up there was keep people out your business because everybody knew everybody. But then I moved down to Jacksonville, Florida. And once I got down to Florida, things were a little bit more spread apart. So I knew the people that lived around me, normally because there was children there and I went to school with them. But I kind of saw like the community starting to make a change where it was no longer like those communities where like everybody knows each other. It was like everybody's too busy working, or everybody's too busy doing this. And now I'm here in Houston, and I see the guy across the street all the time, but I couldn't tell you his name. He told me like two or three times, but I don't know his name. It's like it's not important anymore, and I think that's something that should be important.
Hmm. I agree. So you had mentioned you wanted to teach the younger generation a skill. Like we get this community, we'll have a building where we have workshops or educational activities. What are some of the things that you want to teach?
So some of the things that I want to teach is I believe that, a lot of us get a misconception of college, right? If you want to specialize in the field, like if you want to become a doctor, you need to go to college. But if you're not a college minded person where you're going to be able to dedicate another 2 to 4 or 6 or 8 years of school after just completing 12, and you actually want to get out here in the job force and use your hands or use your talents or build on those talents that you might have gained while you were younger. I want to be the guy when you come out, if you decide that while you're in high school, I want to get into the construction field. I want to create like an apprenticeship program where I could have these young gentlemen, young ladies come out. We could teach them how to actually do these jobs. And once they get to a certain point, they can either accept a job with us or we'll help them start their own business as a partnership. And I think that that's what our community needs, because a lot of these children that we see out here and young adults, they really don't have a lot of opportunity because everybody's so distant. Nobody's really trying to reel you in to poke you or, face you in the direction that you need to go. So,
Mhm. Yeah, I have that same vision, except with real estate, like a real estate school, teaching people how to acquire real estate, how to be a real estate investor. Once we do our land development, I'll have experience with that and teach that to the younger generation. So that would pair good with the people in construction who are building homes, and
right,
they're going to need to sell them. Somebody's going to need to buy them. So
right,
we could have an incubator um, program that shows them just that. And then the partnership part, that's key as well. Because a
mm,
lot of times younger people have a vision of what they want to do, but they don't have a mentor to show them the ropes on how to do it and the partnership to do it with.
exactly.
So we
It's
could
like,
partner with them and to get it started. And then after a couple of years, that partnership can be dissolved and it can be all
right,
theirs.
right.
And
It's like,
they can turn around and do the same thing to somebody else.
right. It's like starting a McDonald's, but eventually you get to sell off the name and just be you. Does that make sense? Yeah.
McDonald's.
So, like, if you were to start a McDonald's franchise, the McDonald's started it a long time ago. What you're doing is you're buying into the name, the talents, the skills, the recipes, and once you get established, you still hold on to the McDonald's name. But in our case, you would move on to doing whatever it is that you would need to do for
Mhm.
your own. But that way you don't get out there and just fall straight on your face like I have so many times trying to start and do and aspired and to do this, and then you get over there and you realize like that's a mountain is just too high this time. Let me turn it over here. I'll come back next time and I can run a little bit faster. So
Yeah, yeah. So they would gain from our experience of doing things and failing. You're failing forward. You're still progressing, but you learn along the way.
yes.
Yeah, I like that too. And the other thing you mentioned the other night was you have an RV. Tell me about your RV, because that's one of the things that we want to put. We want to do RV storage as well as a small RV campsite.
Oh, okay. So me and my family, we've been RVing since probably around 2009. We're on our fourth camper. We have a
Wow.
uh it's about 36 feet long camper. It's about 41 over, with the boom and tow hitch and all that stuff. But with that in my truck, I drive an F-350. We've been okay, so everybody that don't know, we're a military family. So every time we move around, we move like almost every 2 years. Well, with us having to move almost every 2 years, we found that if you had the RV, you could take the RV to the next location, and it avoided us having to stay at hotels. We got to stay out on the beach. We got to camp on the weekends. Even though we were just living there, we started to, see that that was actually something that we like to do. So over the years, we just continue to keep buying them. And I was talking to Ben, what was that, Tuesday, because I kind of had the same vision of like, well, I want to have like an RV park, but not, not like RV park, but a storage park, but then have like certain services there that I know most RVers use. Whereas like when you just have a regular storage lot, you just pull in there, you can't do anything, you can't dump your tanks, you can't fill your tanks, there's no air. It's just hide it from the sun and then pull it back out and
Mhm.
pray that everything's still good, you know. So we definitely could partner up on something like that, or at least take a little bit of the vision and run with it.
So do they have any like Tesla powered RVs yet?
Oh, I don't think so. Not Tesla. They,
Well,
they I believe
electric.
they have some electric ones, but not Tesla just yet.
Well, yeah, I'm sure I would know about the Tesla one. So my son is a big Tesla fan, but I meant electric ones.
Oh, the electric.
Like,
I do believe they have some electric models. I'm not too caught up on the electric model stuff. I can tell you about the motor coaches. That's next on my list. Be able to get a
Well,
motor.
tell me about the motor coaches then.
So some of the top brands are like Newmar, uh, Prevost. Some people call it Prevo. Um, but a lot of those companies, you could buy an RV or the motor coach, and it could be $1 million, and that's like entry level. You got something that's like 2.3 or 5 million. Some that you could just drive your car, put it on the ramp, and move right up under there. So wherever you move, you have your vehicle. You don't have to tow anything, and you have a home no matter where you go. So if you buy land in the middle of nowhere, you can stay out there at least a week before you got to turn around and go somewhere else and refill. Um, yeah,
Sky's the limit.
sky's the limit. As long as you can take the time and do it, why not?
Great, great. Well, those sound like some great things that we plan on doing. We want to have all of that. We want to have a recharging station for electric vehicles, not just Tesla, but electric vehicles, restaurant, um,
Like the food trucks
spa
you're talking
area. Yeah,
about.
spa, camping. Sky's the limit. So we have to, of course, do things in phases. But the first phase is going to be the RV storage and a
Right,
campsite, because that could generate some money right away.
right. That would be a good money generator.
Uh-huh.
And keep the prices where the people will show up.
And then we'll be able to build our properties behind that. We'll have
Right.
the commercial stuff in the front, and then our
Hmm.
personal homes in the back,
Right.
because we do want to live there as well. So
You don't
anything
have
else?
to worry about
Don't have to worry about what?
paying for security.
Because of the military in you?
Oh, me. Oh, and I'm talking about you guys. I'll be living in the back. You'll be in the back of the storage spot. So there'll always be somebody there.
Well, thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you.
My husband was in the military for a brief period of time as well, and then
Okay.
he became a Chicago police officer. So we
Okay.
definitely have our security in place, because
There you
he's
go.
on with that.
Right.
So what else you want to share with me? Anything about your personal life? What are you doing now? What are your plans? What are you passionate about right now until we can get our land?
So, just for everybody that don't know me, my name is Christopher McCrae. I own CLM Home Improvement. I'm a transplant from Hawaii by way of Jacksonville. I started my company back in 2018. While I was in the military, I realized that the military was enough to provide you with your means. But if you really wanted to excel, you had to pick something that you enjoy and actually pursue it. My job as an analyst, basically, when I was out there, all I was doing was organizing information, looking at things, making decisions. So it's a never ending story because there's always something new. Whereas when I go into someone's home and they say, we want to paint it this color, or we want the floor to look like this, now I can take something and develop it with them, tear it down, start the building process. But at the end, there's actually an end. You can actually see the product. You can see what came from your fingertips, and you can see the amazement in these people's face because they know they got a quality job. They know that what they have is the best. And that's me every day, all day.
It sounds good. Sounds good.
Every day, all day.
Okay.
So I'm definitely looking forward to working with this project in whatever aspect that I can fit into. I'm not picking no roles and I'm not looking for no CEO hat, but whatever role that you see fit, I will be there to help.
Well, starting off, they're all voluntary. So that's kind of the problem with getting people on board. It's like, I'm going to do this work and I get paid for it. Your payment comes at the end, and your satisfaction of you knowing you built and developed this community that you're going to live in
Right.
it.
Right.
So it's
I
not
think when people
everybody.
really start, they catch on with it and they see what we're trying to provide, that it's going to change a lot of people's mindset, because a lot of people want to be social, they want to be friendly, but the way the news and certain things portray life now, it's like everybody's so scared to even have that community. I remember growing up, going to the park, and the park was full of people, always full of people. Like you almost had to fight to get a picnic table there because there was always people there. And you drive by the parks now, there's maybe a few people out there running. If it's not a game or something going on, there's nobody out there at those parks. And I think a lot of people miss that, being able to be free, without the worry of everything else is going on. And I think that's something that the property would provide.
You're right. They're scared to go to the mall. They're scared to go to church.
Everything.
Scared to leave their house.
Right.
And they don't want people coming in their house because,
Right.
a little bit
They might
scared
be sick.
now.
They might be this. Yeah, it's no telling what's going on these days. So I think somewhere like that where you could trust your neighbor, you could look at your neighbor in the face and know who they are. I think that makes you feel a lot more comfortable than you would with the person that you just wave at every morning, as a formality.
Yes, and we're going to know everybody that has a home there. If they
Hmm.
lease their home, we won't know them, but we're going to hopefully the person who leases the home to them will know them, so that we don't just have a bunch of strangers coming there.
Right.
It'll be a family member of somebody or cousin of somebody or somebody that knows them, not just anybody off of Craigslist that come and want to stay there.
I
Like,
heard this
who's
out
this
there. They got
person?
That'd be funny. I heard it's nice back there. You guys got trees? Who are you?
Right. No. You can't come back here. Well, I can't wait. As I told Paula, this is my life's mission. I'm gonna do it or die trying. So it may Co-Housing Houston has taken them 7 years to get to where they're finally building on it, and they're going to put it in next year. I'm hoping it's not going to take us that long. We can learn from them and compress that time down to at least 3 to 4. But we just need a group and team of people that want to work together to help this become a reality. I watched a lady on TikTok the other day. Yes, I do watch TikTok. And somebody sent it to me, but she was saying the same thing, how we should get a band. She was like, for lonely women, how we should get a band of women and just buy some land and have a commune. I'm like, well, I don't know about that part of it, but
I don't think you can advertise it too much.
Right.
You almost have to make a secret society, like.
Right. Women living together, all these lonely women out here living.
Right.
I don't know about that part. But I get the concept of what she's trying to say. But in her defense, people were commenting, well, what about men? Men can be lonely too. And you don't have to be, you can have a family and still be lonely. You can have kids. Right. Kids don't want to have nothing to do with you.
Right.
So it's not a matter of fact that you didn't have children or you're not married, that you're lonely. And you could just be a sucky person and nobody wants to be around you too. That could be a problem.
I was just talking about that last week. Like, some people are like, well, why don't nobody like me? I'm like, don't you remember yelling at everybody every time you saw them? That might be the reason why they don't like you. Right. You get to pick and choose your reality. You either can be nice or be fruitful or be angry. It's up to you.
And with the co-housing concept, we have experts that will come in to teach us how to coexist with other people.
Oh, okay.
Like what Keisha does, she does like team building and things like that. So
right.
We can have her come in, everybody that's committed to want to live together. How are we going to solve our disputes we're not just going to fuss and go, how are we going to solve our dispute? How are we going to get things done in a civil way? Because there's going to be some disagreements. Everybody's not going to agree on everything 100% of the time. It's
Right.
just not the way life works. So, how are we going to solve those problems?
We had to drop some politics for everybody to follow.
We will. We definitely will. So it's not going to be like a HOA, but it's a home living association or something. I don't know. We haven't got that far with it yet, but I know that's how they do with Cohousing Houston. There are definitely bylaws and things like that that people have to abide with.
Right.
You can't be living out there and then want to play loud music at 3 o'clock in the morning. And
Right.
we say no poultry, no fish. I mean, no chickens. And then all of a sudden there's a rooster crowing at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
If there is one, we need to know where it is so we can put it way in the back where can't nobody else hear. But those are things that we have to talk about as a group.
Right.
So I'm excited for this. So we meet every Friday. Why am I saying Friday? Every Tuesday at 4 o'clock on Zoom. And we're going to start doing YouTube Live at that time to see if anybody has any questions and just talk about in general how things are progressing and see if we can attract our tribe.
Okay.
You got anything else you want to share?
I don't. I appreciate you having me on and just ready to work. Whenever y'all ready, I'm ready. Just let me know.
All right. Well, thank you, Chris. Thank you for coming. And I appreciate your time today and look forward to living with you, being a part of the community with you.
Right.
All right. Bye-bye.